Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Wilds of Eldraine during the Early Access Streamer event. Thank you very much to Wizards of the Coast for this Early Access promotional account, and without further ado, let's just hop into the draft. Alright, here we are for our Pack 1 Pick 1 with a pretty incredible Mythic, I think. Virtue of Courage is going to be a 2-mana instant adventure to let us deal 2 to any target no matter what with our Embereth Blaze. What does the enchantment do though? Whenever a source control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you can exile that many cards from the top of your library and play those this turn. Alright. Well, the enchantment half of this doesn't really do anything, so how highly do you take 2-mana instant 2 to any target? Never mind, maybe not the craziest mythic to start off with. To be fair, though, I mean, 2 damage instant for 2 mana, not bad. And there's not too much else in here. Knight of Doves, there are a lot of enchantments in this format. And there are aura tokens called rolls that will end up on your creatures quite often. So you can get death triggers pretty often. So Knight of Doves might be the best card. I think I'm still just gonna take the Virtue of Courage. Maybe we can find some things to shoot our opponent in the face for some damage, work with this a little bit, but even if we can't, again, 2-mana instant, 2 to any target, not terrible. We've got a food fight now, which if we can get a bunch of treasure tokens and food tokens and just artifacts in general, we can turn them all into 2 mana for 2 damage to any target. That includes our opponent's face. So it goes with our Virtue of Courage. I mean, we've got to do it, right? Realistically speaking, both of our first 2 picks are definitely not strictly correct. They're just the most fun, the most specific kind of build around sort of cards that we got to put some work into getting them to function, which will make it a pretty fun thing to try to do. Pack 1 Pick 3, we now have a Collector's Vault, which can give us a lot of treasure tokens to work with our food fight. Pretty expensive and dirtily if you don't have a ton of synergies for it, though. But I think with the food fight, we might go after that. The only other red card in the pack doesn't seem great. I guess it's really, really good at winning combat against other, like, 2-mana creatures. A 1/3 reach that shoots everything for 1 every time it blocks or becomes blocked by it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to not have your creature die to a Skewer Slinger, so I guess that's not horrible. Candy Trail's interesting, gives us a food to sack, but this is something you really want to sack immediately, get your card draw off of it, so I don't know how good that is. We'll go for the Collector's Vault here. Now a Frantic Firebolt that can't shoot face, but it is a solid instant speed burn spell. You do need some more instants and sorceries to end up in your grave, though. Do we have anything off-color that looks any good here? Yeah, Sweet Tooth Witch could do it. Gives us a food for our food fight. Doesn't work with Virtue of Courage, though, because it's life loss and not damage dealt by the food, which is awkward. Could just take Red Tooth Vanguard as probably the strongest card. 2-mana 3/1 Trample just keeps coming back every time an enchantment hits the board. Gotta spend some extra mana, but that is pretty busted. Very good, very recursive card. Well, I'm happy to be in red, it looks like. Cut-in is excellent removal. Ratcatcher Trainee is just a great aggro dork. Grabby Giant gives us a treasure to go with food fight. Flick a Coin gives us a treasure to go with food fight. I like all these a lot. I think I just have to take the best standalone card here, which is probably Cut-in. 4 to a creature, and you get that Young Hero roll, which can add a lot of +1/+1 counters to a smaller creature over time. It's a pretty good roll. Pick 6. Doesn't look incredible. This is the best card by a lot, and we're very far from blue-white right now. Could just take that as a sign to try to head in that direction, because I don't think any of the other cards look super strong. August is just okay for staying on color. I don't like any of these green cards that much. Rat Out is solid, just for instant speed, little combat tricky stuff. But I think I'll take the best card in the pack. Speculate on that being open and maybe moving towards blue-white, but there's still a lot of red cards. Another Ratcatcher Trainee and an Edgewall pack now. Like those both a lot. No great artifacts for food fight shenanigans. I really, really like Edgewall pack. I probably overvalue it, but 4 mana for a 3/3 menace and a rat token. Just 2 things off 1 card is always great. The menace is awesome. It's the new Chimney Rabble. Okay, there's nothing off color that looks crazy. Just take the dorky aggro card. Another dorky aggro card. Oh, I get the Sweet Tooth Witch again, I guess. Could actually take that. The food token could be valuable to us with food fight. Okay, I don't think I'll be playing any of these. I mean, our deck looks interesting for now, I'll give it that much. I don't know if everything's coming together yet, but hopefully we find our bearings in pack 2. We do get the Skewer Slinger back. Which again, after looking at the stats again, actually seems not terrible. I mean, it's really bad at like damaging our opponent, but it's very good against creatures. Seems like an annoyingly effective little body there. Yeah, we're not going to be playing any of these. That's a late Hamlet Glutton. I think this card's actually great. You have to bargain with it, so you have to sack one of your artifacts, enchantments, or tokens. But if you do, it's a 5 mana 6/6 trample that gains 3, which is a really insane deal. If you don't bargain it and it's just a 7 mana 6/6 trample, it's not that great. So it doesn't look very good up front, but when you consider the cost reduction that you can get from bargaining, it can be pretty nasty. Maybe we are keeping that green potentially open. I don't think Verdant Outrider is going to be any good, though. Okay. Didn't open anything great for red. Dragon Mantle would be okay, because it's a cantrip. It just draws you another card immediately. Callous Sellsword could be okay. Worst case scenario, you can like fling a rat token at something for 1 damage with the Burn Together. Then it's a 3/3 when you play it. That's actually really nice. If you have a rat token on board, then when you have 3 mana up, sack a rat, deal 1 to any target, and then spend your additional 2 to just play a 3/3. It's actually kind of tempting for black-red. What does the Goose Mother do? Is that insane? It's going to be really big. It's going to make a bunch of food. You can sack them to draw cards. That is kind of crazy. Have to be red, green, splash, blue for that, though. I think I'd rather try to go like black-red Callous Sellsword shenanigans. Grabby Giant for more food shenanigans with our food fight. Whoa. Pick 3 Gruff triplets, though? I'm only 2 cards deep into black. I guess we're going back onto green then. Because that card is nasty. 6 mana for a 3/3 trample, but when it enters the battlefield, you create 2 copies of it, so 6 mana for 3 3/3s. And when one of them dies, you put counters onto the other ones equal to its power. So when one of the 3/3s dies, the other ones upgrade to 6/6s. And then when one of those 6/6s die, the other one upgrades to a 12/12. That's insanity. Yeah, we take that. We definitely take that. That's our 6-drop finisher, and now we're just green-red. Now we even get a Stormkeld Vanguard, which is going to be a main deckable little naturalize effect with the Bear Down adventure, while being a great just 6/7 finisher to ramp into. Now I definitely have the finishers I need, so we want to take Mana Dorks and early creatures very highly. But I guess we're just full-on green-red aggro nonsense now, green-red ramp, which means the food fight collector's vault shenanigans are probably not going to be worth it here in this archetype, although I guess green does potentially have some cheap food production. Maybe Food Fight will still get there. So how does Defense of the Heart work? Beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sack it. Search your library for any 2 creatures, put them into play. That's cute. A little too dependent on our opponent's deck, though. I would love to sideboard that in the right matchup. That'd be really good against, like, the Rat token deck. But here, I think I'd rather just take the Fawn to ramp into these incredible finishers. We could also take the really efficient removal of Torch the Tower. I do have 2 solid removal spells here, and I really, really want to prioritize this kind of mana dork with these 5 and 6 drops. Yeah, because I'm going to take another Stormkeld Vanguard, another 6 drop. Go ahead and cut the Food Fight Collector's Vault stuff now. We got 14 playables. We need to find 9 more. Preferably we find like 15 more playables, and then I can really adjust my deck however I need to. Oh my god, Unnatural Growth at the beginning of each combat. Double the power and toughness of each creature you control. Just be the biggest stompy deck of all time? Sure. Whatever. We're going big. Go big or go home. I want to have a friggin' 12-13 on board. I guess that'd be a 12-14. Oh my god. I like Grabby Giant for those treasure tokens. Those can really help us hit triple green and quadruple green. But with enough adventure creatures, a 4 mana 4/4 Vigilance Haste is pretty sweet, so the Gale Fang could be cool too. Also, the heavier into green I get, the more just straight up forests I can play to help cast those cards, so I don't know. We'll try out the Vigilance Dork. Brave the Wild seems great here as well. We're going to be heavier into green than red, and this can find our red source if we need it, and if not, I can just grab another forest. That could be good. Skybeast Trackers, whatever. I don't think we're going to go full mono green, but with restrictive costs like this, I would not say it's impossible. I'd have to find almost every card out of pack 3 would have to be playable, but we're on quadruple green, triple green. Nonsense. Up the Beanstalk's just 2 mana draw a card at worst, and if I play these big things, we draw another card later. I'm going to take the Up the Beanstalk. Another Brave the Wilds. There's also a 2 mana 2/3 Defender. Good at keeping me alive till I get to these big plays. Plus, if I have creatures with power 4 or greater, I can attack with it as a 3/3. I don't really like either of these, but I'll take the Tracker. Maybe we can do mono green. We need to find 10 green playables. Here's Garruk's Uprising, which is basically an additional copy of Up the Beanstalk. Just going to draw us a card when we play it and draw it every time we play one of our big creatures. It's actually really good with our Verdant Outrider, too. These 3 mana 4/2s are pretty filler, not great, because they trade down into 2 mana 2/2s, but if we have good reasons to play them, like Garruk's Uprising, they might be worth it. Yeah, maybe we just keep drafting green cards until we maybe just end up completely mono green, and that would be interesting. Yeah, no good red cards here, so we take a green one. Red Tooth Genealogist, 3 mana 2/3, get a roll token on one of our cards. Seems perfectly reasonable. I think the 4 mana 3/4 is better, but I want cheaper cards on curve like 3 drops and 2 drops here. Maybe even want the Witch Stalker, but I feel like Witch Stalker is more likely to wheel than the Genealogist because less decks will want that. Yeah, I'll take Genealogist. We've been seeing a lot of green flying around, so we should get one of those 2 cards back, and both would be good for this deck. Mono green, no removal, no interaction, the deck. Let's do it. Card doesn't seem insane. I'm not that unhappy to have to pass that, sticking to mono green, just taking like Titanic Growth here. I guess I could take Porridge for some interaction. The flavor on this card is beautiful too. There's the bowl that's too hot, that's dealing 2 to a creature, the bowl that's too cold, tapping a creature, and the bowl that's just right, that's just a food, you gain 3. That's really cute, but I think Combat Tricks would be pretty good in this deck. I'll just take Titanic Growth. We can make it to 8 mana. That's reasonable. And don't tell me it's not. It's a super reasonable mana cost, come on. So all we gotta do is make it to 8 mana. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. We do have to have an artifact, enchantment, or token on the board, but then if we do, we literally just, in limited, look at our entire deck and just put the 2 best creatures on the board. We're just like, alright, I want these. Boop, boop. So we even take return from the wilds now for ramp. This is just straight up 8 mana, put a Gruff Triplets and a Vanguard on board. Only need 3 more playables now. I could actually play Collector's Vault in here now. We're getting treasure tokens to get to the 8 mana of Thunder's debut. It also gives me treasure tokens to sacrifice to bargain, because I don't have a lot of good things to sack to bargain right now. I like the Outriders with Garruk's Uprising. But I feel like Tempest Heart is just a better card. Even in mono green. Yeah. Start cutting some Sky Beast trackers if we get enough green stuff. Sure, Leaping Ambush, cut a Sky Beast. A second Garruk's Uprising? Mom lets you have 2? Okay. I guess I'll do that, and then I take all the Outriders, because nobody else is going to take them. What is this deck? 0 interaction, mono green, card draw through the roof with 2 Uprising and an Up the Beanstalk. Every 4-power creature. Take the Werefox. I don't think this is a Ginger Brute deck. We might actually play Spider Food. There are enough enchantments in this format that this should pretty much always have a target. And it really helps us against flyers. I think I want Witch Stalker over Tempest Heart. More cheap stuff on the curve. Okay, I don't want Toadstool and Myra. Okay, I think I'm just not going to use Thunder's Debut. Now that I have double Garruk's Uprising instead, I can just draw into these things instead of trying to dig through my deck and try to have a million mana, which means I can cut return from the wilds as well, which would still help ramp into some of the stuff. But I also think that bargaining is difficult for this deck to do, which is where that 8 mana spell gets really strong. I am going to go full mono green. We didn't get any of the Verdant Outriders back. That's kind of sad, because they'd be sweet with double Uprising. So this is just straight up the deck, unless I want to put some of this other nonsense in, and I think these are the weakest cards. What else does this do? I can get a food or a 1/1. Oh, I choose 2. That's actually interesting. I can get a 1/1 and get a land, or I can get a food and get a land. That's better than I thought it was. I thought it was a choose 1. I might play that over something else, but I think generally this is what we want. In a monocolor deck, Brave the Wilds is like literally just playing land 18. So probably Brave the Wilds as the cut. I think that seems fine. I am main decking a Spider Food, but I also have like no removal, so I think that's fine to do. Sure, we'll cut Brave the Wilds and call it a deck here. Alright, here's a look at our final deck list for today, and I promise one of these days I'll draft like a reasonable human being and have a really nice, streamlined 2-color deck that's not trying to do anything stupid. But during the streamer event here, today is not that day. We started getting some super green cards like Gruff Triplets and Unnatural Growth that are incredibly heavy into green, so I was like, you know what? How do you cast these cards consistently? You just play mono green, then you never have to worry about the mana for it. So we are full on mono green here. We've got some nice ways to stay alive till later with some 2/3 defenders, some mana ramp like Root Rider Fawn, and as I showed you before, some explosive stuff to ramp into with Unnatural Growth, Gruff Triplets, Stormkeld Vanguards, and Hamlet Gluttons, and some nice stuff in the mid-range with a lot of card draw, weirdly, for a green deck. 2 Garruk's Uprising, drawing us cards every time we play creatures with power 4 or greater, and Up the Beanstalk, drawing us cards whenever we cast spells with mana value 5 or greater. So lots of card draw there, especially because we have a lot of potential 4-power creatures. So, yeah. Only thing we're really missing out on is removal. We don't really have removal. We've got a couple combat tricks to try to help us out in that front with Titanic Growth and Leaping Ambush, but that is where we could have some issues if our opponents resolve their own really spooky bombs. But overall, pretty spicy, pretty interesting deck today, and I'm excited to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game one with my mono green nonsense, and I'm pretty into the hand, Witch Stalker to try to hold our opponent off, and then the Return from the Wilds. It's going to be a perfect way to ramp into Hamlet Glutton, because it's going to give us land number 4 or 5, so that we can play land 5 next turn, and it's going to give us the token that we need to bargain the Glutton down for 5 mana instead of 7. I think Return from the Wilds into Glutton is going to be a pretty spicy little ramp combo in this format. There's a Grand Ball Guest, which once they trigger Celebration is actually going to attack through my Witch Stalker. We'll get the 1/1 that might get them to not attack us, even if they buff the Guest, but I feel like if they buff the Guest, they'll still attack in because they get to trade into the Witch Stalker when they send in. Alright, so that's going to trigger Celebration and do 2 damage to me thanks to Vermin. Yep, they're going to attack in. Alright, I'll do the double block because there's no way they kill the 1/1 here. They're just going to kill the Witch Stalker. Yep. So we get to kill their creature and still have the sack fodder we need for the Glutton, because we know that they were not going to kill the 1/1. Boom, we'll kill the 1/1 ourselves to get a 6/6 and gain 3. And then I can just cast Stormkeld Vanguard next turn since I Rampant Growthed. Play my 6-drop on turn 5. I could blow up their Impact Tremors with the Adventure, but then I'm not playing a 6/7 until later. It could be worth it, because I can spend 2 mana on that and play Witch Stalker and have Titanic Growth up. I do need to not die, and they're getting a lot of damage off of Tremors, and got a board state they can be trying to outrace me with. Oh, they're actually just going to draw the card here instead of keeping the rats. Fair enough. Scry 2 to the bottom, draw a card is the play. Voracious Vermin is putting in work. This thing's getting big. Leaping Ambush, 1 mana, +1/+3, untap a creature. It's a pretty good deal. Well, if I'm at 19... I think I just play a 6/7. I don't think I need to kill Impact Tremors. Just try to get the kill on them. If I just kill them in like 2 or 3 attacks, then we don't get hit that hard by Impact Tremors. They don't play that many creatures in 2 or 3 turns. Best way to stop your opponent from casting spells is to make them go to 0 life. Tattered Ratter. That gives all of their attacking rat tokens +2/+0. That gives all of their rats, period, +2/+0 while they're blocked. Okay. It's not going to do any more damage to me, but it'll make the rats better at killing my creatures. It's a lot of creatures on their board that can't block Stormkeld Vanguard. Ooh, spider food. I can just eat the Tremors and get a food token. Alright, I got multiple combat tricks here. We want to save all our mana up for that when we go into combat. I could try to like triple block Hamlet Glutton or something, and then we just Titanic Growth and ruin their day. Whatever mana we have left, we just get a Witch Stalker down and eat the Impact Tremors. They're gonna take it? Ooh! Boom! $16 damage. Let's go, baby! What do they have? 1 red mana? I'm pretty sure this is the face explode. Yep, there we go. Just big green monsters find us the victory, and we are 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are for game 2 with another snap keep. Got the Witch Stalker. Actually, turn 3 Verdant Outrider after a turn 2 Witch Stalker means we are getting damage in quick. Attack with it as a 3/3 on turn 3. Red-white, some Boros nonsense over there. And they could have these celebration cards that want them to have 2 non-land permanents enter the battlefield in the same turn. Spellbook Vendor, that's a really strong card. Every time they go to combat, they can spend 1 to put a sorcerer roll on one of their creatures, so every creature on their board over time can get +1/+1 and scry every time it attacks. Very strong card. Send in our Witch Stalker here. And they're going to get their sorcerer roll onto the vendor. Scry 1. To the bottom. I didn't even realize it has vigilance as well. It's even better. Send in the team. Hamlet Glutton's looking a lot weaker in this hand than it was last time because we've got no way to, I think this is a fine trade. +2/+2. +1/+3 still beats that, right? It'd be a trade. It wouldn't beat it. A 5/5. This makes mine a 5/5 as well. I guess we go for the trade. Anyways, we've got nothing to bargain for Hamlet Glutton, so it is going to be 7 mana, which is quite a lot. Virtue of Loyalty. How dead am I to this mythic rare? Incredibly. Alright. I mean, I've got the enchantment removal spell at least. But I have to wait till they play that thing. Beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and untap. So you get a +1/+1 counter on the whole board and untap the whole board. Super rough part here is they can easily just keep playing creatures if they have them. They don't have to immediately jam that thing out. Luckily for us, they did. So that might mean they don't have too many other creatures. We are definitely blowing that up. Knight of Doves. That is it. Alright, let's get the big life gain dork out. On the defensive here. Torch the tower, my Witch Stalker, and get a bird. Pretty solid. There's 6 damage Frantic Firebolt. They had that many instant sorceries engraved in their red-white deck. Seems good. Redcap Thief. And La Flood. We are dead. Not dead on board, but dead to 1 removal spell. Not gonna do it. 1-1, heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3, doing our dumb nonsense again. Just get our Witch Stalker down. Oh, we did it again. Witch Stalker into Verdant Outrider. Can't stop us. Playing against green-white. It's focused on getting a bunch of auras on the board, so a lot of rolls like the monster roll here. Armory Mice. 2 mana 3/1 hits the board. And trade my 3/3 into a 3/1. I really don't want to do that. We're just going to play the Outrider and pass, I guess. Next turn I can hold up Titanic Growth and Ferocious Werefox's Adventure, which could be really good. Take my 3 damage from Armory Mice, that's fine. Send in the squad now. Get my roll. We're gonna have to Titanic Growth too, I'm sure. Yep, +2/+2 trick. What does the sack do? Flying Lifelink? Alright, so it still dies. Graceful Takedown, I don't even know what that does. So just a creature you control deals damage equal to its power to an opposing threat. If you have an enchanted creature, you can do it with 2 of your cards, with an enchanted creature and a non-enchanted. Actually, if all your creatures are enchanted, you can do it with all of them. Interesting. Alright. Let's play a 3/4 here against the 3/1. That seems fine. We just stop getting hit on board at least. Alright, there's removal for the Tempest Heart. There's the Werefox for 4. The Armory Mice. Just drop our Witch Stalker to trade into that. Gotta find something here. Because they only have 4 lands, so it's all gas outside of that. So we're behind on cards here. Okay, now we're definitely behind on cards. There's the Hamlet Glutton. We gotta draw our own, or this is gonna be a quick loss from this point. Basically just immediately have to top deck. Come on. Come on, top deck, let's go. Oh, hey there. That'll work. That'll certainly work. The awkward part is if they have a combat trick, I'm actually in a pretty bad spot because I have to like double block Glutton. Make my last triplets a 9/9. I don't get to do the full make one of them a 12/12 or whatever combo. If they have removal here, they might be able, like removal plus combat trick and they're winning. If that's their last two cards. I'm at 9, I can't afford to let Glutton and I have to just go for the blocks here. They send it in. Savior of the Sleeping. Remember enchantments put in the graveyard from the battlefield, put plus counter. Alright, let's see. Show me the tricks. Cool, I'll have my 1/9/9 then. Okay, it's just another roll. Glass casket? I can get rid of the glass casket or I can get rid of the cooped up. I think it's better to get rid of the cooped up here. Draw a card, get a counter on the Tempest Heart. 9 life here, taking 4 on the crackback, so we send in the full trample. And they're down to 5. Alright, huge work done by the bomb rare there. Gruff Triplets was just gross. We needed to hit something massive to get out of that one, and we hit the incredible bomb rare, so very solid luck there. Is going to take us to 2-1 as we head into Game 4. Here we are on the play for Game 4. If I hit one land, we can return from the wilds and just go crazy. It's going to be land 4. One more land after that gets to unnatural growth. Ooh, could return from the wilds into the Hamlet Glutton as well. If I hit 2 lands, we're in an incredible spot. If I just top deck Forest and then top deck Forest after that. Uh-oh. Come on, 2-lander, please work out for me. Twining Twins. It's not going to work out for me. We're going to die to a Vigilance Flyer. Oh, snap. We're really going to die to a Vigilance Flyer. I was going to say no shot they blocked there. And now they're going to have the mana up to just shoot my Vanguard in response to Leaping Ambush, which is rough. We're to try to Leaping Ambush, and then they're going to spend an instant speed removal spell on Vanguard, and then we're going to die to the Flyer. That's probably the course of the game. Oh! They didn't have the burn. But they do have the 5/4 now, because they had a lot of land over there. Okay, here's the return from the wilds that we needed. One land away from some massive things. I guess I actually drew into a spider food, so I could also, once I hit the land, spider fooded the twins. No, I would have needed to have 4 mana. Yeah, I would have taken a couple hits from that before, so I think it was right to just do the Vanguard Ambush tray. Go for that. Plus, I don't remember the sequencing. I might have drawn this after I did that trade. Well, I'm happy to have it, because now I'm just going to kill a Flyer, I think. Because I don't have the mana to play the Glutton anyway. I could play this Tracker, 2/4 reach, and just try to block. I think I'd rather just kill it than attempt to block it right now. And then I might get to keep my chump blocker, sack my food to the Hamlet Glutton. Scarecrow Guide, it's a 2/1. Welcome to Swordtooth. That'll get big over time. It's not crazy right now. There's land 5. If I'm okay with taking 5, I can blow up Welcome to Sweet Tooth with my Vanguard's Adventure and play Witchstalker this turn instead. Or if I'm okay with chumping with my 1/1 right now, that might be fine. Stop this thing from going crazy. Although I could also play the Glutton now and still blow up this adventure before it puts counters on something, so we should probably just play the Glutton now. And I think I keep the 1/1. Because it keeps their 2/1 off of us, even if they have a removal spell for the 6/6. This will keep the Scarecrow Guide off of us. Tempest Heart. Not a removal spell, just another creature. Very chill. Oh my god, we drew triplets. We drew triplets again? If I hit one more land? Now I've got that breathing room to just drop Witchstalker and make sure they don't get counters on the board. And have a better board for blocking. Apprentice's Folly. Uh-oh. Get a copy of a non-token that with haste until this thing dies, and then they do it again next turn. So they could have like a really big attack next turn, but there we go. Perfectly timed. If it weren't for that, we would have been real scared on blocks here, but now we've got 3 extra blockers, which is massive. If they have some way to return this to their hand or bargain it away, that's going to be super bad for me. What is happening? Mill 7, put all adventures from among them into your hand? None of them had adventures. So nothing happened. Please don't bargain away the Apprentice's Folly. Okay, they didn't bargain it away. They discarded their hand to draw 2 and did not find a bargain card. Okay. Unnatural Growth time? That would be really fun, but I think I still need to just keep playing blockers for a long time. Be mega safe. Yeah, I just gotta play Stormkeld Vanguard, I think. I think Unnatural Growth attack with one of the triplets could have been okay there. What does all this do? Permanents cost 1 less. Permanents with adventures cost 1 less, and this draws a card, discards a card every turn. Okay. Cool stuff. Got 7 mana, which is enough to Uprising plus Tracker. Or just play the Unnatural Growth. I'm gonna just go for it. We're doing Unnatural Growth things now. Oh, I've got the 2 mana return Vanguard. Woo! Alright. They have conceded. They do not like the amount of power and toughness on my board there. I was going to have to do some math and see if it was worth attacking. I don't think we had enough trample damage to just kill them. 12 plus 12, 24 plus 6, 30 trample damage. That might actually be enough. 30 minus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 30 minus 18, 12 damage trampled, guaranteed, if they stop all the trample damage. So it would be more beneficial to them to put a 1/1 under that, then stop trample there. Put a 2/1 under that, then stop trample. But everything else I think stops the most damage. No, I mean that stops Vanguard, obviously. Okay, so these 3 stop more damage by blocking elsewhere. So if those 3 go elsewhere, they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 30 minus 12, 18 damage. So yeah, that was lethal. Cool. Would have gotten there eventually. Maybe our opponent just immediately knew. But I definitely would not have known that fast. We are 3-1 with the mono green dream team. I'm loving it. This is a fun deck. That's the kind of stuff I want to draft more often. Alright, spicy hand here. I actually don't think the mana ramp looks incredible in here, but I do like the Vanguard and the Outrider into the Uprising. Hopeless Nightmare. That's actually super annoying. I guess I can discard the Vanguard and play the Mana Dork instead then. And then I can return the Vanguard to my hand when I play the Uprising. Just wait to play Uprising until turn 5. Ooh. Or I can just have double Uprising. And then I can just play either one whenever. No! I'll kill my Mana Dork. Why? Well, was going to be a beautiful time to cast Uprising next turn, because then Uprising plus put my 3/1 back into my hand. I think I still cast it because I have 2 copies. But could have been a real good time. Oh, now they're going to curse my Outrider. Make it a 1/1. Most annoying deck we've played against so far. Delete this archetype. I don't want to play against blue-black shenanigans. Now my Uprisings are blanks. And they don't do anything. Because I don't have my 4-power creature anymore. My Ambush doesn't do anything either, so I have to just wait till 5 mana. This has played out real bad. Our opponent is having a fantastic time. I am not. Oh, that's a big yikes. It's a fairy that draws a card, discards a card, and gets a +1/+1 counter every turn. So it attacks, and then it turns into a 2/4 flyer before it deals damage. And then it's a 3/5 flyer. And that's if it's the only fairy you have. If you have multiple fairies, it just gets even better. Because you can put the counter wherever you want. Well, Hamlet Glutton can sacrifice a Garruk's Uprising to get cast, I guess. The thing. Can't do it until I play the Garruk's Uprising, so not this turn. But next turn. But then I don't draw the card, because this triggers when they enter the battlefield, not when we cast them. Ew. Well, get back in the graveyard, Vanguard. Leaping Ambush is my answer to this messenger. So I gotta get rid of the other Uprising then. Because we gotta play Glutton and Ambush with the Glutton to have something big enough to kill the messenger, and then Glutton sticks around to kill the Witch. This is just the rudest thing. Well, that's not a land, so we're not killing a messenger. I think we're definitely still playing a Glutton, though. I think the thing that really got us was the curse roll on Outrider. If it weren't for that, we would have drawn at least like 1 more card this game. Because we actually would have drawn off of the Uprising, the first one, probably the second one as well. Now they have 2 4/6 flyers. 1 Ambush is not going to be enough to get us out of this. Unnatural Growth is cool. It's also not enough to get us out of this. I need to hold up the Leaping Ambush. We need to block the Diminisher Wish with our Tempest Heart, untap the Glutton, and block the Messenger with that. Then maybe Unnatural Growth into lethal out of nowhere if they attack with everybody and leave no blockers up. Is the plan? I'm gonna let them loot first. Yeah, because they might hit something like that that returns something that's gonna die. And then they discard that. Alright, well, we're screwed either way. Got the bounce spell. Yeah. If the draw off of the draw and discard was the bounce spell, then they still would have been able to just not dead after all and reanimate their flyer in response to our reach, and then still die next turn. But then would I have hit them for lethal on the crackback? That's the question. So they would have gone, I would have used this. This resolves, then they draw a card, discard a card. They draw into this after I've already cast the combat tricks. They discard that to keep the not dead after all. Cast not dead after all on the messenger. I kill it. They get it back tapped. Yep, so those two are tapped. They would have the mana up for the Conceited Witch, though, so they'd have 2 blockers up with 6 total toughness. Then I play Unnatural Growth. 12 plus 6, 18. 18 trample against 6 toughness is 12. Plus 2 from out. That could be exact lethal. No, they had a food also. So with the food, we wouldn't kill them. They'd have 6 toughness against 18 trample. So we deal 12 damage there, plus 2 from Outrider with the Unnatural Growth. So we would have done exactsies, but also they gain 3, so they'd be at 3. Alright. Well, slightly closer than it looked, because Unnatural Growth for a bunch of damage out of nowhere would have been big, but it did not feel close at any point. They really wrecked our Garruk's Uprisings with that curse from the get-go. Alright. We're doing the thing. Got an Uprising, got an Unnatural Growth. Got the Verdant Outrider, as long as it doesn't get cursed or blown up. And the Uprising will be good. And I might even just Unnatural Growth first, honestly. Instead of drawing cards right now, let's just beat down for 8 damage a turn. Probably better. We're against a red-white deck, so they probably have cheap burn spells. Hopefully not the 1 mana 2 damage yet. Let me keep my Outrider for a turn here. Would appreciate it. Let me get 1 8 damage attack out. There we go. Perfect. We get to do it. Do the thing! Boop! It's mono green. This is what we're doing. This is just what we're doing over here. And the ham's got to accept it. 12 life now. Could still just die here. If he's got just 1 mana removal to shoot the Outrider and then cheap creatures. I'm not doing anything till turn 6. Yeah, there's the torch. I can still get aggroed here. Hopefully the ham plays an enchantment. Not an enchantment. Oof, and that triggers the celebration. Return from the Wilds. Well, that's going to guarantee the Vanguard next turn, which is nice. I could actually just play it right now, because I have the Fawn. What am I talking about? Yeah, we just play it right now. That does one-shot them. That's a 12-14. If you can't kill it. You can block it with an Armory Mice, though. They've got enough power. Although Garruk's Uprising will give trample. Which is a pretty big deal. With Unnatural Growth as well. Alright, Grabby Giant. Grabby Giant pass turn. Beautiful. Uprising, get some trample. Draw a card. Drop this. Return from the Wilds. Get a 1/1 and a food. So I don't need the ramp anymore. Trample in that 12-14. Just do that twice, try to win the game off that. Got 2 blockers up and a food if I don't immediately die this turn. Trample down to 1. So this is the all-in, try to kill me in 1 crackback kind of play, probably. Yeah, it's looking that way. Stack up some damage. Send in the team. 2/6 on the 3/1 that lives. Blocked there. Because this one can get trample. Yeah. Seems reasonable. Alright, get the celebration to get the +1/+1 trample. Not going to be enough. And we are going to find the kill here. With the 12-14. We are now 4-2, more wins than losses in this run. We love to see it, especially with mono green monsters. This has been a very fun draft, and hopefully it continues for at least a couple more games, just so we can play with this deck a little more. Game number 7 now. That turn 2 Witch Stalker coming in hot again, and a Genealogist to make it a Royal Witch Stalker, which is cute. I'll just play the Outrider first, so I'm immediately attacking with that, and then I can Uprising draw the card soon. Oh, they're just going to grapple it. Well, goodbye, Witch Stalker. Never mind. So... probably want to just set up the ramp then. Have 5 mana next turn, so I can play up the Beanstalk and a 3-drop. Rowan's Grim Search. Draw 2, lose 2. That's probably terrible for me. That is an absolute nightmare. Beginning of their upkeep, they can sack one of these rats to put a counter on and exile the top card of the library, and they can play it this turn. So basically, if I don't kill it immediately, it's a 4 mana 5/5 menace draw 2, which is insane. Yeah, next turn it'll be a 4/4 menace plus draw them a card. Turn after that it'll be a 5/5 menace and draw them another card. And if they have any other rat production, it's just going to get even worse for me. Well, looks like we are really going to get absolutely slammed for our lack of removal this game. Let's see what Up the Beanstalk finds us. Root Rider Fawn. Don't currently need that. Let's drop the Outrider so at least they can't attack in without removal or a combat trick. Because I can threaten to double block and kill the Dweller. I guess I could still threaten to do that with Genealogist. Whoa, they didn't sack something? Oh, because they have the Sewer Witch? And now we're mega dead. Because the Sewer Witch gives all of their rats a Wicked roll. So now they're all 2/2s, and when I kill them, they drain me for another life. So they can start sacking them and draining me life now too. Yeah, that makes sense. We are even more dead now. Let's see if Uprising finds us anything. Finds a Stormkeld Guardian. That gets rid of artifacts or enchantments, but not Redcap Gutter Dwellers. Get Genealogist down. Now I've got multiple 3 toughness creatures for their 2/2s at least. But again, they just have infinite card draw off of this Gutter Dweller. With a rat deck like they have. There's the Feed the Cauldron for our big boy. Wicked Visitor does even more damage to us when we start killing their wicked rolls. Down to 11. No attack with the Sewer Witch there. I guess just playing it safe and having some amount of blockers left. Because I didn't have enough power to kill that. Just play a 6-7 and draw 2. Digging for some way to maybe kill them out of nowhere. Probably our only way to win is if we find like unnatural growth and titanic growth or something like that, and we just hit them for like 30 that they just don't expect. Yeah, if they didn't have removal for Vanguard, or if they don't have removal for Vanguard, then if I played it and it drew literally unnatural growth, titanic growth, then next turn I could drop that, drop both together, and that would be like a 20 power trampler that they can't block with the majority of their board. That might find lethal. I think that would be our one way here. They're actually going to hold up blocks here. That's interesting. Well, I'll do the genealogist thing. Get my block in here, take 2. This way I just take 2 one time instead of repeatedly. Okay, they're going to sellsword the genealogist, finish it off, that's fine. Alright. I think it is too late for the unnatural growth draw now. But there's the titanic growth, so if I somehow survive one more turn, I'll have both of them together, which is what we would need. Don't believe I can survive another turn, though. 7 mana. Play a 4-drop and a 2-drop, pretty much. So drop the Fawn. And I guess I dropped the Werefox to draw a card off of the Garruk's Uprising, then. To dig again. Red Tooth Vanguard, that is not where it's at. Ooh, they drew into a rat out. That's really good for them. Kill my 1/1 token, get another rat to sack to the red cap thing, and buff the vermin and all of that kind of stuff. Yep, here it is. Rat out. I repeat, rat out. Oof, they just already had a candy grapple too. Pretty sure that's Daubers. Yeah, that's quite dead on board. Take 9. Alright. Well, that game wasn't completely unwinnable if we hit like really lucky draws, but it did definitely show off the biggest weakness of our deck and kind of the biggest weakness of green decks in general, and that was just our lack of removal. There is some green removal in the format. There's the 3 mana like fight spell at common. I think that's the only common green removal spell outside of like Spider Food that doesn't really count because it's so narrow. So we did miss on the one green common removal spell, but the rest of it's like uncommon, like that one bite spell that one of our opponents played that was like all of your enchanted creatures and one other creature get to deal damage to something. That one was uncommon. There's a rare that lets one of your creatures deal damage to something else, so yeah, lack of removal definitely killed us in that final game. I think if we had immediately killed the card that exiles cards from the top and draws them extra cards, it would have been a much closer game where we had more time to draw into our win conditions. But overall, just lost to some pretty solid decks. I think the deck still played super well and it was incredibly fun. I've got no regrets about the way I drafted today because this was a sweet deck. It was a lot of fun. The Uprising and the Unnatural Growths together. The Gruff Triplets are absolute insanity, but just playing some massive green dudes and attacking. Just going back to basics with mono green monsters was a very great time. But that's going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.